the glance. And the idea is that we know one look can be of the poisons of shaitan. It can be the most poisonous arrow as we are given in the hadith of shaitan. Not the idea that a person can have one look and prolong it. Sometimes I see someone who's like, he's talking with me on the phone and you're wondering, what's wrong with this guy? You'll be like to him, where are you? And he's like, yes, Ammar, 1 second, yep, definitely, I'm sure, okay. That person, you know, at that moment he's extended the look about 15 minutes about where he's looking. And you find sometimes a person says, because I have one look, okay, it's worth extending, and he'll keep extending until the person is out of sight, and he'll say, okay, it's happened and it's gone. In Islam, there is no such thing. In Islam, the idea isn't to walk around with your head down all the time, but nor is it the idea that I just stare at the person. يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُ فُرُوجَهُم. يَحْفَظُ فُرُوجَهُم was revealed about what? It was revealed on 2 angles in Arabia. On one angle was what? That some of the Arabians, unfortunately, they used to walk around with some of the private parts being seen. And you had this whole idea in Arabia. Well, you all know about some of the Arabians who used to circumambulate the Kaaba naked. And they used to also sit down sometimes to cover. So here on one angle it was saying cover your private parts. On another angle it also was speaking about preventing adultery. The idea that a person must be able to protect his private parts in all areas of his life. Then the Quran goes on to say, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهِنَّ وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهِنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. Quran says, tell the true believing woman. Notice where the first hijab is where? With the male. The first physical hijab is with whom? The male. Then the second hijab is the female. Sometimes we just attack the female. Yet the Quran of Surah An-Nur first mentions the male. The male hijab is there, you will see the female respecting themselves as well. Because it is a form of zealousy within a community. And that's why the Quran says, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهِنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. The Quran is saying for them not to let out, not to let seen what is there in the open, except the face and the hands. Although the traditions and the discussions differ about the face and the hands, there is the agreed opinion that you come forward and you see, for example, Salman al-Farisi narrates that one day we went with Rasulullah, I went to him to the house of Fatema al-Zahra. And when I went to the house of Fatema al-Zahra, what happened was, Rasulullah, he said, Assalamu alayki ya Fatema al-Zahra. She allowed Rasulullah to enter. He said, now Salman is going to enter. Are you ready? She said, yes, I am ready. Salman enters. Salman is narrated to have said, I saw Fatima grinding wheat. And I saw blood from her hands when she was grinding. From the amount of work that she had done in that day, there was some blood that had come out because of the hard work. Here Salman gives the indication that Fatima al-Zahra's hands were shown according to the scholars of hadith. And also there is another idea that Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari goes once with Rasulullah. When he goes with Rasulullah, he goes to Fatima's house again. He says that when we entered, we saw Fatima al-Zahra. And I began to cry. And he says, I began to cry because I saw how much Fatima's face was pale. Because of how much food Fatima used to give away to the poor. She hadn't eaten any food for herself. So the idea here was that what is allowed to be shown is what? What is allowed to be shown is the face and the hands. Although the ulama have differences of opinion on the fiqh. Then it says, وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمَرِهِنَّ عَلَى جِيُوبِهِنَّ. That then they put down what? The khimar, the scarf, above what? Above jiyubahinna means the neck. Now some people come forward, they say, Ammar, there's no verse in the Quran which says that a person has to come forward and cover their hair. There's not a single verse in the Quran. Well, the reason there's not a verse which says you cover your hair is because Arabia used to already cover their hair. Arabia was already covering their hair. It was there that the people were covering their hair. Whenever one does tafsir of the Quran, he does it with certain prerequisites. One of them is that he knows the culture of the people of the time. And the culture was that Arabians used to have a hijab, but this was how their hijab was. There'd be a hijab, and it would be coming back here, behind the neck. The Quran now said, you take the hijab and you cover it above the bosom area. Because you see, unfortunately, in many of our communities today, that the hijab is over here, but all this is showing. The chest is all showing. Indeed, it is not a matter for us to take lightly. Because I can cover as much of my hair as I want. I can continue to cover my hair for long life. But if this is tight over here, it is a form of attraction for the male. That's why the Quran says, let them draw their veils over their bosoms. Let it draw over the neck. And then the Quran says, Do not let them hit their feet so that they know لِيُعْلَمَ مَا يُخْفِينَ مِنْ زِينَتِهِنَّ. Do not let them hit their feet in a way where then you can tell what they are wearing. Because sometimes some people wear these high heels. Cluck, 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 you hear the noise one after another. She is walking. The Quran says that cannot be done. The Quran says that these people used to walk, they used to be anklets or bracelets or whatever they're called, and they'd be moving one way and another in Arabia. The Quran says this cannot be acceptable. When we wear shoes and hijab, or when we wear anything, we got to make sure that hijab is not moving around one way or the other. There couldn't be a way of attracting people towards us. Some people's heels, they're about this high. If they're going to be this high, when you're walking in a mall, it's not going to bring respect towards you. Remember what we said, that clothes speak louder than words. You could cover yourself as much as you want, but there are certain areas that cause more attraction than any. And that's why the Quran even says that there's another form of the physical hijab, which is what? The way you speak and interact. يا نساء النبي لستن كأحد من النساء إن اتقيتن فلا تخضعن بالقول فيطمع الذي في قلبه مرض وقلن قولا معروفا. O wives of the Prophet, you are not like any other wives if you have piety. Do not play about with words, because some people, when they wear their hijab, boy, they can talk with words. And some words of some people can take a human being far, far away. That you can be wondering, where is the hijab? Yes, there is a lot of covering, but if I give the sweet talk on the phone, then this brings about a lot of trouble. وَقُلْنَ قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. Speak, without a doubt. We're not telling anyone to be dumb and silent. But what we are saying is that when you speak about those issues which make you an acquaintance and don't go to the borderline of friendship. The moment you realize it's going a bit overboard, it happens to each one of us. Sometimes we don't realize. Sometimes we do realize. But when we do realize, straight away a person's just got to stop there and then and say, I think now is the case where I have to stop talking. Even the Quran says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِيَسْتَأْذِنكُمُ الَّذِينَ مَلَكَتْ إِيمَانُكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ لَمْ يَبْلُغَ الْحُلُمَ ثَلَاثَ مَرَّاتٍ. The Quran says that, O you who believe, those within your house who you have taken, which your right hand possess as your slaves, and those who have not yet reached puberty must seek permission to see you on 3 occasions. قبل صلاة الفجر وحين تضعون ثيابكم من الظهيرة وبعد صلاة العشاء. Look what the Quran is saying, that there are times in the day, 3 times in the day, where the children must ask for permission to see their mother or their father. 3 times in the day, I must ask for permission to see the mother or father. Why did the Quran mention it especially on those 3 times? قبل صلاة الفجر, there are some people who have just woken up from their sleep. They may be wearing something which the child should not be looking at. If I am a mother and I'm walking around the house in bikini or miniskirt or something like this, it does not work properly. We may laugh, but unfortunately, within Muslim communities, there are people who actually do this. Even further than Muslim communities, you find that our brothers in the West, unfortunately, some of them have these habits, where the father walks around wearing boxer shorts at home, and the father walks around sometimes wearing nothing. How do you expect your child to maintain a level of respect for themselves if the father is not maintaining any respect for himself? قبل صلاة الفجر وحين تضعون ثيابكم من الظهيرة. And when at the time of Dhuhr. Why? Because you know you have the siesta sleep. Siesta they call it, I think, midday sleep. Sometimes a person is sleeping in midday, he may wake up from his sleep. And when he wakes up from their sleep, he may not be wearing anything. He may just be wearing something where a lot is showing. Quran says even then the children have to ask for permission. With the idea that it's as if you're knocking. And the third area, بعد صلاة العشاء. And that's quite self-explanatory, with the idea of what? With the idea that a person's probably going to go to sleep after Salat al-Isha, the young child should ask for permission before he enters his mom and dad's room in order to maintain the hijab there. That is on a physical, and that's why it must be maintained. And even then the Quran goes on to a third area, which is the spiritual area of hijab. One was what? Social. The second was physical. Then it comes to a third area, which is a combination of social and spiritual, which produces the area of taqwa within the hijab of a female. Once يا بني آدم قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا ولباس التقوى ذلك خير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to us 3 types of hijab in Surah 7 verse number 26. Where he says the first type of hijab is what? يواري سوآتكم. which is what? The type of hijab which protects your private parts, number one. Number two, warishan, the one which protects your areas of beauty. If I know that I have